Hi, everyone. This is Megan.
And this is Steven.
And this is the Synchrony Podcast, where we talk about transforming apostolic dating culture and ending loneliness in the church.
That's right.
We are recording this under the wire today.
Yeah, on Sunday.
Yeah, we normally drop episodes Sunday night, like after church. We get home from night service because we still have 2 services because we're going to heaven. No, just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Our church has...
You show this to Brother Tony.
I know. He would be so proud. Our church is continuing to have 2 services. I don't know how everyone else is faring out there. But so we usually get home from church on Sunday night, put everything up online. It goes up Sunday night. So normally we record.
We usually record on Thursday night.
Right. We are exceptionally behind this weekend. It's been busy.
Life happens. It's okay.
Yeah. It's been a busy graduation week. We've had a lot of things going on this week.
We said that last week.
We did. It's graduation 2.0. My brother's actual... No, wait a minute. Was his actual graduation ceremony? It was this week. Yeah.
It was.
It's all blending together. So we're here.
Yep.
So this might be kind of a short and sweet episode so we can edit it and get it out the door.
That's right.
Hopefully not too far off schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about a topic that I don't feel very knowledgeable about.
And I'm kind of excited about.
Yeah. This is much more in your wheelhouse. And I'm going to say, I feel conflicted about this topic for 2 reasons. One is that I wish this weren't as important to dating as it is. I personally wish that this was not as big of a determining factor in how people choose dating partners.
Sure.
I think I have to just come around to the fact that in the modern day, it is important.
Yeah. What is this? Because you kind of haven't said what it was
I'm
yet.
sure they see it in the title of this episode.
Sure.
We're talking about photos.
Taking photos specifically of yourself.
To use in dating interactions, whether you're posting them on a dating app or giving them to me to put in a Synchrony bio or putting them up on a Facebook page or just having them on your social media anyway so that potential dating prospects can come or creep on you.
Your LinkedIn,
Sure. You're not sending people your LinkedIn for dating purposes.
No, I know, but I'm saying this could also apply to your LinkedIn.
So there's this whole thing nowadays where in order to be an adult who participates in modern adult life, you have to have sort of like a micro degree in marketing because you have to create some sort of an online, persona or whatever version of yourself in order for people to see it and interact with it online. Dating is a big part of that. So You've heard me in particular rant before about how we want to move away from swipe culture.
Yeah.
Where people just focus on photos at the expense of everything else.
Yeah. And I still think that stands.
Yeah.
But that being said, we live in a digital world and we also would not trust the chance of meeting someone in which we had never seen them before.
Totally. And it's important, I think, to see how people present themselves.
Yeah, sure.
What I'm realizing as I talk to more people about this is people aren't necessarily just using photos for going, do I find this person nice to look at? They're also looking at what type of photos does this person put up and what does it say about who they are?
Yeah.
So it's not as shallow as just what do they look like? It's also do they make good judgments about how they present themselves?
Sure.
And do they seem to be involved in things that I find valuable or wholesome or whatever? Yeah.
I'm really happy that wasn't our first interaction.
Photos?
Over photos.
Oh my gosh, it'd be terrible.
Mainly because I had zero fashion sense.
Listen.
Any fashion sense that I had was adopted from someone else giving me a suggestion and I stuck with it for 20 years.
Listen, first of all, let's put out a call out. If you are an apostolic image consultant or personal stylist, we should talk because we ain't got it.
No, we're same pants, same type of shirt.
Oh, it's terrible. And I feel
same pants for me.
Another reason why I'm conflicted. Yes. Another reason why I'm conflicted about this topic is I feel horribly unqualified to make any judgment calls about how people can look better in photos because I am the worst at taking photos. I
are pretty bad.
I hate it. I hate how I look in photos.
I love how you look, but you are pretty bad at being photogenic.
I know. I'm not photogenic at all. And I am nervous around photos, which doesn't help. One photographer, a dear friend of ours who thankfully was our wedding photographer, has managed to capture photos of me that I actually really like.
Yeah. But it came with instruction though.
Lots of
Yeah.
coaching. She was like, I remember the entire time she was like, Megan, do something different with your hands. Pretty hands. Pretty hands. Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, like whatever, I can't.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just my little neurospicy brain or whatever, but I see a camera and I just go into like mode and like become a gremlin and I can't.
Yeah. Cameras and roaches.
Cameras and roaches, man. Yeah. They're my deepest, darkest fears. So I am not qualified to really talk about the ins and outs of how to make yourself look good in photos.
Yeah.
You do have some expertise in this area.
I do, and I would not say in any way that I'm like a professional. I have a background in the last, I guess, decade now of photography. It started with whenever we were starting my bee business, and I wanted to like take my own photos because I wanted to post on social media. And at the time, smartphones weren't as good at taking photos, or at least mine wasn't because I was too cheap. And so I bought a used or hand-me-down a DSLR and got into doing photography. And then decided to volunteer. I brought my camera with me when I was working at church camp, and then I ended up getting ended up shadowing someone who had taken photos at church camps ever since I was 8.
Yeah.
Like I have seen her around forever, and she was there longer than that.
Really talented.
And so she just throughout the years just gained a lot of information, and she felt like taking a liking to me and giving me pointers, and I really appreciate it to this day because if she wouldn't have done that, I don't know if I would have fallen in love with photography as much as I had.
Yeah.
So thank you, Tamara Johnson. You're fantastic. I've done a couple small photo shoots for like engagement shoots and stuff like that, but primarily
You've done one wedding.
Did I? Oh yeah, it was a wedding. That's right.
You did their engagement. You did their engagement and their wedding.
It was like their second wedding because their main wedding was going to be.
They did an
France.
elopement, right?
They did an elopement in France.
Yeah,
and
so they had
those
like
photos were jaw dropping. Mine, I felt like it was terrible at the time.
So you've done a variety of types of photography is the takeaway here.
Yes. Now I am over our photo and video department for our church. So I don't feel like that gives me more credibility or anything like that, but I am around cameras a lot.
Right. I wouldn't say that you're a portrait photographer by any stretch. Like Not yet. But you have.
I have for the last 4 or 5 years done PK Young's baseball photos.
Yeah, you've done like some sports, some like team photos. You've done a couple of engagement shoots, and so you've had to learn more about like positioning and posing.
That's been a hard run for me.
You enjoy more of the candid like capture.
I'm more of catching people in action, and the telling people how to stand is what terrifies me about any wedding or photo shoot.
Yeah.
That I was like, if I'm going to do that, I need someone to be there with me. But that being said, I've gotten better. And I'm getting better at telling people what to do because I feel bossy and I hate that. But
you've taken our maternity photos.
I have. I mean, I don't mind telling you what to do.
Yeah, I do feel beautiful. Fair. I do feel beautiful in those. You did a good job of making me feel pretty.
You were pretty.
Thank you.
You are pretty, but you were really pretty then.
I was like a big pretty pumpkin.
Yeah. in my bee yard.
Yeah.
So all that being said, we run into our clients very often, not just our clients, but also we've seen like social media profiles. We've seen people send us stuff from other bios and other profiles where they're talking to someone and the photo that they're taking of themselves or they're choosing to put on the internet are not flattering whatsoever. Or even their camera angle when they're doing a Zoom call is like, I'm like, yo, there are much more flattering ways to like view yourself.
Yeah. And like, I don't think we would say either of us are an expert on like knowing your angles. Like there's whole like master classes online about like posing and like all the ways you can do it. And I don't want anyone to be listening to this and think that like, oh, I need to become an expert on how to make myself look good artificially.
No.
That's not what we're about. Your photos should be a genuine reflection of who you are, but you need to be thoughtful about how you present yourself specifically in dating scenarios because for better or for worse, in most areas, people are making some judgments about the level of care and interest and focus you're putting into those as a reflection of who they think you might be.
Yeah.
So even though photos aren't a direct reflection of character, and in my money, they're not even a direct reflection of physical attractiveness, it's important to be thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
So I want us to talk a little bit about content, like setting and content, and then also a little bit about like lighting and mechanics, if that's okay. So let's start with some what to include and what not to include in your photos.
Okay.
Bathrooms.
Yeah. Which I understand the sentiment why people do it, because it's their most probably wide mirror they have.
Everyone,
And
yeah.
the back of your phone camera is much better than the front of your phone camera.
Mirror selfies are most of what I like when I ask for people to send me a picture of themselves. They're often sending a mirror selfie.
Yes.
And that can be okay. I think generally speaking, those are becoming a little bit cliche nowadays. Like,
Sure.
I don't want you to overthink that too much, but you should not be sending mirror selfies taken in a bathroom.
Well, okay. If that is your only option in the moment, like I'm imagining you're asking our client for a bio photo and they have no other option in the moment, let's give them a couple tips to at least make it a little bit better.
Okay, I don't know. Like, here, listen to what I'm saying first. You should not take a photo in the bathroom. If you have no other options, take your phone, go outside, find a passerby, and have them take a picture of you against a wall. It will be better than a
But what
bathroom
if it's at
photo.
night?
We're usually not that desperate. Usually someone has a photo of themselves that wasn't taken in a bathroom.
Okay, that's fair.
And if you have any other photo of yourself, please use that one.
Yeah.
Because it's almost impossible to entirely remove the bathroom setting from those photos. Like if there's a sink behind you. I've seen them with urinals behind them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
And I'm
urinals
like,
and toilets, and not even
right.
fancy ones, or not even like, or like they're at like a restaurant bathroom.
Yeah, they're in like a gym bathroom. God forbid.
Yeah.
I mean, like check for reflections of other people. Check for like the angles. So here's my takeaway: the reason why you shouldn't take selfies in a bathroom is because the angles in a bathroom are almost never good. If you're lucky enough to have a bathroom at like at church or at work where it's like there's like an entryway that's closed that then opens up into the
Yeah,
restroom,
like
and
it's a
like a
which
foyer.
that's more women's bathrooms. Guys' bathrooms do not have that.
Yeah, because guys' bathrooms often have like more space, I think, dedicated to like urinals and then like.
Well, no,
toilets and
usually like guys' bathrooms don't have nursing stations. Like in some areas have nursing benches, and they have flower pots, and they have like decorative
Right.
stuff.
Women's.
Guys' bathrooms is like paint, urinals, sink,
Okay.
maybe a toilet.
Okay, hole in the ground. No. Either way, so if at all possible, avoid bathrooms. If you must take a selfie in a bathroom, avoid having anything that looks like a bathroom in the background. So no stall doors,
Yeah.
no plumbing, no sink areas. Like find the place in the bathroom that the backdrop of the mirror does not look like it's a bathroom.
Yeah.
If
So
you
that
must.
way, at least if you do it in an angle where it doesn't look like a bathroom, that you might be able to crop the sink out.
Yeah.
Because no matter how you do it, there's going to be a reflection of the sink in front of you.
Right.
If it's your personal bathroom, I've seen some of these, and it is, I don't want to say gross because I don't want to judge, but like, because our bathroom is never perfect, right? But they'll take a photo of themselves where they're like brooding or doing like a smolder, and then their bathroom counter is covered in junk.
Yeah,
Right,
you just
and
have
it's
to
like
be,
toothpaste on the mirror. It's like
And
come on, dude.
the
At least
and it's not just guys
I
who
know.
do this.
I know.
The thing about this too is that like part of the reason why this happens is because when you're in a familiar place, it's easy for you to become desensitized to what somebody else might find off-putting.
Yeah.
So if you take a photo and you're thinking about putting it on a dating platform or sending it to me for your bio, show it to a friend first. Be like,
a friend who will be honest with
right,
you.
if you saw this on a dating site, would you think anything about it was weird?
Yeah.
Right. Here's another one that I want to caution people about. Sports photos. Sports are great. And
You would have loved my sports photos.
For all the wrong reasons.
For the baseball pants.
Yes. I think it's great to show people that you participate in athletic activity if that's a big, important part of your life. I think it's cool. You just need to be really aware of what you're wearing related to that sport that you're playing.
Yes.
If you're wearing tight clothing or clothing that contours your body in a specific way, if you're a boxer or a wrestler or something that's got...
I mean, there's no apostolic that should be on their dating profile putting a photo of them while they're in a singlet.
You would be surprised.
Oh my gosh.
I have seen it happen.
Oh my gosh.
And
I did wrestling, so I understand.
yeah. And like, I'm not here to preach to you about what is and isn't modest to wear when you're doing sports. Take that up with your pastor. Talk to him about it.
But on an apostolic dating profile,
If you understand that the people that you are looking for are going to expect a certain amount of modesty in how you behave in your day-to-day life, this is not the time to compromise on that. Like,
yeah,
your photos should be an authentic representation of how you live your life, right? So just like I wouldn't tell you to fake pose behind a pulpit with a Bible if you don't like preach.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to tell you to put a singlet photo, right? Or a wetsuit photo up if you're looking for someone who practices modesty. And if that's
Yeah.
something that's important to you in your day-to-day life. Like,
yeah. And if like, for instance, you said wetsuit, like if diving is very important to you and your character or your career or whatever it is, there are modest ways to take photos
Yes.
of you in these items. It's just we want people to be conscious of their surroundings, the people they're taking photos with surroundings, like to give yourself the best chance to not let someone judge you the moment they see your photo. And we don't preach that you should judge someone right away, but it happens because of human nature.
it's very easy these days to make snap judgments about who someone is based on their photo. And you could be the most genuine, down-to-earth, modest, humble, God-honoring person and have a photo that's revealing or that's tasteless, and that completely undermines your actual character.
Yeah.
You know?
And this will be the last time I say this, or that we say this, but like, we're not encouraging people to be fake.
No.
Like, we want people to be authentic. We're not saying cater your photos, but we want people to be aware of their photos. Because we're saying this because we've talked to hundreds of people, y'all, and we have seen photos of people that are apostolics, and we know their character. We know who these people are, and we're like, this does not represent you well.
This doesn't. And you have to pay attention to things that you might not normally pay attention to, like the people that are in the background of your photos. Even if you're completely in control of how you look in the photos, if you're taking a picture of you at the beach and there's people behind you that are dressed in like, ungodly attire, it's just not a great reflection of you, right? And you can't control the whole scenarios of every aspect of every picture. We understand. And you shouldn't feel like you have to pay money to Photoshop things out of photos. Just be conscious. It is much better to provide fewer photos that are a better reflection of who you are than a ton of photos that are a poor reflection of who you are.
Yeah.
I think there's also some cliches that you probably should avoid, like avoid weird pouty faces and smolders that aren't your true, your true smile.
Like a horse.
Yeah. Avoid fish photos if you're a guy.
Oh, it's like fish. I was
have you seen?
thinking about like fish lips.
No.
Lips.
Have you seen the stereotypes about fish photos?
Yeah.
How men will take pictures with fish and then use them for dating. Like, women don't need to see the fish or the dead deer. Like, this is a little bit of cliche advice, but guys, like, I come from a hunting family and an outdoorsy family. We enjoy a good deer picture.
Literally,
and
her
a fish
grandfather
photo.
is in hunting or fishing competitions all the time. Like,
Yeah,
so like
I have plenty of photos of myself holding dead animals. No woman wants to see you holding a dead animal in your dating profile.
Yeah.
Unless you are a professional hunter or outdoors person and you want a girl who is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, unless that is the specific market that you want to shop in, which is a narrow market, right?
Yeah, that not as many girls are into it that you think they are.
Right. Just like, it's not, I know that it's a very hyper masculine thing to do, but women don't really want to see that aspect of it very much. Like, most women I talk to, when I ask them about their interest in guys who are into outdoor sports, are like, those are fine. I don't care about it and I don't want to participate in it. Like, great for him if he wants to go do that, but it's not something I need to be like,
Yeah.
I need to have
You
front
used
and
to do it a
center.
lot mainly because you were spending time with your grandfather and your
Sure.
dad. And so like you like hunting for being outside and
I like to
enjoying
be in a tree
nature.
and not have someone bother me for 6 hours. I
Yeah.
like to have complete silence
Now
around
to think
me.
about it, you should probably go hunting more
I
now.
should. Now that I'm a parent, I really have a deep I don't even need to take a gun with
Yeah.
me. I just need to go sit in the woods. Nobody bother
Well, you have to
me.
take a gun just in case you run into a hog or something. But
Sure. I just need to go sit in a tree. Just drop me off at the tree and let me sit there peacefully. Take a little nap.
yeah.
That's all I need. Anyway, the takeaway from this is if you're an outdoorsman specifically, your trophy photos aren't great dating photos.
No.
So just keep that in mind. Okay, I feel like we gave a lot of don'ts. Of like,
I mean, well, we've seen a lot of don'ts.
Yeah.
So are there any more don'ts while we're on don'ts? Don'ts?
ladies, let's talk about this a little bit. Okay. How do I put this in a way that's not going to... So I am guilty of this. I have seen pictures of myself from when I was in my early 20s that make me want to crawl out of my skin. Very embarrassing. You have to be really conscious of how your upper body is positioned as a woman. Okay. I shouldn't have to explain exactly what that means, but like, go for crew neck photos, right? Go for photos with necklines that are close to the top of your throat.
Yeah.
Even if that's not your personal conviction all the time and you have clothes that are a variety of that, for dating photos, err on the side of caution because it is very easy for angles and lighting and things to just reflect poorly.
Yeah. Another caveat. I'm the king of caveats.
Mm-hmm.
We are an apostolic podcast. So we do have listeners who are of other denominations that are going to probably be like, wow, this is a little, a little
Preachy.
bit more. Yeah, a little preachy and a little bit more. But apostolic listeners understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, so just want to throw that out there.
Yeah. I mean, take a look at, before you post a photo, go, if my pastor saw this on an app somewhere, would he feel like it was a good reflection of him in my church and in our community, right? Think about that too. Again, we're not trying to tell you to be fake. If you don't have a particular conviction about a certain standard or it's not something that your church espouses, then fine. But if you subscribe to a level of modesty, make sure that that is well represented in your photos.
Yeah.
I am personally not a huge fan of, so I'm going to make a statement that people can take issue with. Girls a lot of times like to send me like their outfit of the day type pictures, which is very much about the outfit,
Yeah.
right?
Like shoes all the way up
Right.
to the top of their bun.
Often a full mirror selfie with the purse and the shoes and the outfit. Nothing wrong with those pictures in general,
No.
right? But I think for dating, it's important for the focus to be on you and not on your clothes, right? So I'm not saying they're bad in terms of just like their ability to show what you look like. And if you feel really confident in them, that's fine. But I just want you to kind of critically think about if the picture is more about what you have than it is like in terms of your outfit than it is.
That's also sending a message though.
It is.
It is because so from a guy who is not very materialistic,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was in the dating scene, like if you were to send me a photo of yourself and you were to send like a head to toe kind of thing like that, I'm not saying I would have not liked it, but it would have given me signs and signals of what is important to you.
Right.
And that being said, if that's important to you, that's great. But at the same time, I wanted someone, which I got it, who was down to earth, right?
Doesn't care about photos. Runs away from cameras.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so like
I cannot
so
emphasize.
I'm saying if I were on a dating profile
Yeah.
and I was looking through the different profiles,
Uh-huh.
I personally would not want to see a photo of someone dressed to the nines in a church photo.
So this is context that might be helpful. So when I talk to guys about their preferences, right? One of the questions I ask, and I ask this to the ladies too, but I say, if I told you that a match for you was someone who really put a ton of effort into their appearance, how would that strike you, right? Some guys are like, I like a lady who can dress up really well, right? That might be a priority for them. Other guys are like, I find that off-putting because I
Yeah.
don't want her to be so focused on the exterior or like so focused on appearances that there's this pressure to like keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
So if you are a person who is really into fashion and it's a value of yours, right? Or you are really like, you're someone who really likes to put together an outfit. It's a hobby, it's a passion, it's something that you enjoy doing as a practice, then yeah, an outfit selfie might make sense because you're looking for a guy who respects that skill and is interested in that skill.
Yeah.
Not every guy is. So if you're going to be doing sort of like more fashion focused photos, expect to attract a more fashion focused man.
Yeah.
And that could work for you or it might not. You know,
I'm not sure how I feel about expect a fashion focused man.
I mean, there are guys who are like, I want to see that she can put herself together. I want to see that she's got
Yeah.
a good sense of style. Like I've met those guys.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so I think it runs the gamut. It's not you.
No, no. But what I'm saying, so what I was going at before was I want to see the version of you,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I was like on a dating site, right? Or unsynchrony. I would want to see a version of you that I was going to see the most. And that's you in your casual clothes, spending time with friends.
Yeah.
Right? I want to see the photos of you have, like I don't care if it's a selfie. But I want to see something about you and your most authentic self, not about like how can I look the most pretty and stand the perfect way.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that helps a little bit, but like it's one of those things. Is that's personally what I would look for.
Well, my point is that
And I think a lot of guys also would feel the same way.
I think guys are looking for authenticity, especially in a world where things can be photoshopped and highlighted and whatever. I think there are women who have an authentic interest in aesthetics, right? Like, and that is a passion and a value of theirs.
Can I make a statement that might get me in trouble?
You can. I don't know if you
You
should.
can always delete it.
Okay.
I think in the apostolic faith in particular, because that's the only one I've been a part of, so I can only speak of that.
Mm-hmm.
When we were younger, this is how it felt.
Okay.
And I think some of this still translates, and I've made observations today, even today. When a woman dresses up, if they are particularly single, yes, there is a hope that they find a man there or find a mate. But they usually don't dress up for the men. They usually dress up because it's an internal competition against other women.
Okay, this is a whole podcast episode because
Am I wrong?
yes and no. So, and I asterisk what I'm about to say might not apply to all women, right? Not all women.
Of course
not all women think the
Yeah,
same, right? There is certainly a pressure between women to achieve a certain level of put togetherness, right? Yeah. And that's passed on from woman to woman. It's a pressure that is put on younger women from older women and vice versa, right? This pressure to stay hip and kind of cool. And like, I'm not pulling this out of my head. Like I did a whole thesis project on this. So I collected data and interviews where I had women in their 50s saying, I feel a tremendous pressure to look, to not become dowdy in my modest dress, and younger women feeling like they really had to step up their game to meet the gaze of other women. However, we talked about competitiveness. Some of that competitiveness, if you're a single woman, is if you feel like the only chance you have to catch someone's eye is walking through the door of a conference and someone locking eyes with you across the room, then it is about you setting yourself apart from the other women in the room.
And that makes sense.
Right. So it's complicated and nuanced, and I don't want to get into a value judgment on that.
No.
Because I think it's very hard for women to separate out like what is authentically me and my sense of style and fashion and what is pressure from society and culture. And like, I think people have to weed that out for themselves.
Yeah.
My point is, if you are a person who puts a lot of emphasis yourself on style, fashion, and aesthetic, then fine if your photos reflect that, right? In whatever way makes sense to you. If you are not, and if you want someone who doesn't see that as, you know, like if you want someone who appreciates you for who the other sides of you, that should be what you showcase. You know what I mean? Like don't showcase things in your photos that aren't important to you, and showcase the things that are. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think there was a statement made of like guys like seeing that, and like don't get me wrong, guys like seeing a woman dressed up very nicely.
Mm.
It's kind of the nature of being in a church setting. Like you're in church 3 times a week most of the time, so like that's kind of the normal state that we see people.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I think there's something about seeing a girl in a t-shirt and a jean skirt. You know?
There are plenty of guys who do not like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I have talked to guys who were like, I don't want a woman who, and I'm going to use their kind of language, like these are men who put a lot of effort into their appearance, right? Like they are fashionable, and that is part of who they are,
Okay.
right?
Maybe that's just my own bias speaking out.
You are not this guys, yeah.
Yeah.
And and these guys aren't shallow for this,
Mm-mm,
right?
mm-mm.
They need to present. They feel a responsibility to present a very polished image to the world, either because of their career or their ministry, where they want to, at any point in the day, look polished and ready for someone to take them seriously. They don't want someone who's really comfortable in a comfy sweatshirt and a jean skirt, and that's her typical outfit of the day, because they want a partner who's walking in those same spaces with them. I've talked to guys who are like in local politics, right?
Yeah, and of course that makes complete sense. But
Yeah.
I feel like those are the outliers.
I don't know. We don't have enough data to
Yeah,
confirm that. So we
that's fair.
can't take your stereotypes about all the dudes you know and what they want. I think that there are
I'm saying
more.
that to me. I'm not saying that that has to be their 100% like
No.
outfit, but I'm just saying like that to me in a photo.
Yeah.
And it could be nicer than a jean skirt and a t-shirt, but like I'm just saying like in a photo, like I want that to me is a more authentic representation of them.
It might not be. So this is the takeaway is show who you are authentically,
Yes.
right? We cannot judge whether or not a nice outfit of the day photo is more or less authentic to who that person is. Only you can decide what is authentic to you,
Yeah,
right?
that's fair.
So we don't know, right? Whatever you feel like is the most authentic version of yourself, who you actually are, what you actually care about, take that photo, right? And it's okay if that's putting you in a mental like game of Twister, because you're like, I don't know what I care about enough to take a picture of it. Like, here's a picture of me with my Pokemon cards. Like, if you're trying to figure out how to make that work, like, I'm not saying just go start taking lots of
Yeah,
portraits with your
no.
cat, but like, don't try to emphasize things that you don't care about.
Yeah.
Is takeaway. I think here's my perspective. Now I want to shift to talking about like easy ways to take good photos,
Yeah.
because I think it's a challenge for a lot of people. If you as a photographer had to prescribe the best kind of background for an individual person taking a photo of themselves, like with a timer or having a friend take a photo of them, just if you could just give them high level pointers, what would you tell them to do?
Natural lighting is usually better.
So outside or in front of a window?
Yeah, outside or in front of a window. A blistering bright day is not always the best.
Mm.
If it is, make sure you're standing in an area that has consistent shade.
Mm. What do you mean by consistent?
If you have an oak tree that is shining light or sunlight through the leaves and you have that dappled light on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a good place to take a photo.
Yeah.
Just because it adds unflattering shadows to your face and to your body. And it makes it really hard for a camera to pick it up well.
Yeah.
Or consistent, I should say. So if it is going to be a bright day, have natural background, and have the light be behind the camera. So if you can position the sunlight to where most of the light is coming towards you, towards your face, and not behind you. You don't want to be backlit if you can.
What you said, natural background. What does that mean?
I mean, I'm in Florida, so like we could have ideally not buildings.
I've seen some like on like a brick wall that look nice.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, that's adding their own personal flavor of character. But like, if it, again, it's being conscious of what is behind you. I think that's really the gist of it, is just making sure you're conscious about what you're taking a photo in front of.
Yeah.
Because I have some people that are like, let's take a photo together, and next thing you know, like they like, oh like, yeah, like they get together and then they take a photo and they look at it 2 weeks later and they were in front of a porta potty.
Right.
Like they don't. Some people don't recognize their backgrounds.
So just pay attention to what's behind you.
Yeah, and this is specifically, again, these are for photos that you are trying to use to do for people to be able to see the best version of you.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is something that you're going to be sharing,
Right.
obviously, if you're taking a photo with friends, take a photo with friends wherever you can get it. But if you can just do a quick 360 and look around you, just choose the best option that you have available to you in that area. Now, what I do want to add is if you have an iPhone, a lot of people are iPhone users. I know there's some Android users out there, and the Lord will save you one day. But there is a setting for when you're taking photos that a lot of people don't know about, and I'm not going to get into the nuances of it, but if you scroll your phone over when you're in the Photos app, there's like photos, there's videos, and then there's also a portrait mode. What that does, it's a digital focus basically, but what it does is it focuses on the subject and kind of slightly blurs the background.
So it brings more of the focus to your face.
Yeah, if it was a DSLR camera, you're basically reducing the f-stop of the camera, so that way it is focusing the light in one area.
Right.
And so what's really nice about that, it makes the background completely, for the most part, unimportant.
Yeah.
Because it can take a really weird or ugly or inconsistent background, slightly blur the edges of it, and the focus is on the subject. I've gotten some amazing photos with my cell phone, and it actually kind of makes me mad of how good they are with a simple switching to portrait and taking photos of my kids with my cell phone, when it has taken me years to learn how to do what that camera just did in a second with zero effort. It has taken me years to learn how to do that on a DSLR.
Okay, so to summarize, natural light, front lit,
Yeah,
against a neutral or, natural background without any kind of weird, interruptive, strange things behind you.
yeah.
Right. Use portrait mode on your camera.
On your iPhone.
On your iPhone if you have one.
I'm sure there's an Android version of it.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it is.
A lot of people send me pictures that they've taken in their car. Not my favorite.
No.
The lighting isn't usually terrible because you're getting...
Again, it's front lit. The
right.
windshield is the roof is blocking the light,
right,
and the windshield is letting in light, which then is front facing.
Right.
So I can see why that can work.
People like to take pictures in their cars. If you're going to do that, because that's the best lighting you can find, park your car first, please. Parked, car off. Take off your seatbelt, because having a giant slash across you is unflattering in lots of ways.
Well, and it's also it accentuates parts of your body that don't need to be accentuated.
Yeah, I was going to leave it at unflattering, but we can say that too.
I'm just being realistic.
Yeah. And please be aware of what you have in the backseat of your car. And like, if you're going to take pictures, like clean your car.
Or at least shove it to the other side. Like,
right. Yeah. Like just be conscious of sort of what you're presenting in that.
Yeah. Like I've seen like gym clothes and like a McDonald's cup in the background. Like just shove it over at least.
Yeah. Okay. We've covered a lot. I don't really want people to get so fixated on photos that they feel like they have to go contrive and like construct them.
Yeah. Can I give one more tip?
Yeah.
Sorry. And also, if someone is taking a photo of you, again, we're not trying to alter it to where you're being fake, but I'm trying to also make it the most flattering for yourself. Try not to have the person taking the photo of you take a photo straight on of you. Ideally, if it could be slightly higher than like your forehead level, or and you're like probably 5 or 6 feet away, just if the person's shorter than you, have them have the phone go up a little bit, just because it looks doesn't matter what shape you are, it makes everyone feel boxy.
To take a photo straight on.
Yeah, straight on, right on. Just go a little higher. It's okay. It's not going to change much.
So in this case, if this is the person here, the phone needs to be tilted down toward them slightly.
Down towards and a little higher.
Yeah.
Like you don't. I'm not saying go above their head, but like instead of being like lower stomach or like chest level, try to go like to your neck level or maybe your forehead level, depending on how tall you are. And it can really change the view of a photo.
Yeah. So if you do not have photos and you need one for dating purposes, my recommendation is find a quiet place with natural lighting and take a friend with you to take it. I think that's the easiest way. Get them to say something funny to you. Have them take a few pictures while you're smiling and laughing authentically.
Yeah. Megan's photo smile is, I love you to death, is terrible.
It's so painful for me.
Unless someone is like getting you to laugh, like you're
Right.
yeah. I wish you basically should have a pitchfork on your other hand,
I
and
can't. If someone's like smile for the camera, I'm
you literally
like
stand with your shoulders square to the camera, and you're like,
I
I
I
know where Lily gets it from.
I don't know how to do it. Like this is once again, if you are an image consultant, personal stylist, color analyst, actually this is a whole thing. Sorry, tangent. Beep. So I've been getting obsessed with color analysis because I was wanting to see if it was like snake oil, right?
Sure.
For those of you who don't know, there's a big trend right now. This actually was a trend years ago. This is not new, but it's having a moment on social media where people are getting personal color analyses done. And what it is that they take a person with no makeup and put them in very neutral, like a white or a gray shirt, and they usually will block their hair with something like white or gray as well, so that they're just seeing their facial skin tone in the picture. Put them in front of some kind of natural lighting, and then put lots of different shades of colors against their skin to try to identify what types of saturations and levels of richness of color best complement their skin tone. It's fascinating. You can go look at videos of this because it's really cool to see how your perception of a person's skin changes based on the colors that they put beside them. And anyway, I think it's really neat. It's expensive to go get it done for yourself, but might give you good ideas of like what kind of colors look best on you. All of these things are beyond our skill set. If you are a person like me who really feels unconfident taking photos or having photos taken of you, like you're a photogenic person and you don't mind being in front of a camera because you tend to look good when the camera's on you.
Okay.
I feel fear about taking pictures of me. You're not allowed to die, because if I had to go back and try to date online, I would feel actual nervousness and trepidation about putting myself in front of a camera to take pictures.
Good thing you know some matchmakers. Well, at that point, it'd be a matchmaker.
Yeah. Hello. I'm pretty sure that's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So like for some people, what we're talking about is actually really scary. And I don't want to undermine that.
Yeah.
Like if you're a person who really doesn't feel confident in taking pictures of yourself or having pictures taken of you, it is okay to seek out some actual professional assistance with this. And that's not you. This is true for photos you need for work, for things that you need for business. It's okay to go find people that are skilled in all these different areas that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to become an expert in posing or an expert in style and color. Maybe you just need to ask for help from people who are really good at those things. And it's okay to do that. These because we know that we are, for better or for worse, relying on photos as a reflection of who we think people are. Even if that's not a great thing to be doing, I think it's the reality of where we are in life. It is okay to invest some time and energy into finding photos that make you feel good and that honestly reflect who you are.
Yeah.
And take the time to think about that. If you are getting on a dating app or you're putting together a profile, pause, be thoughtful about what you're putting up there, because it is, I've talked to women who have looked at guys' profiles, and the first few photos, they're like, wow, this could really be someone for me. And one picture with inappropriate clothing or with something that feels
Them
really
standing in a gym mirror with like a slightly cut off shirt.
right.
Like...
Or pictures that come across as very immature or whatever, just tank their chances.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to you.
No, it's not.
To be judged on that, but it's also something that you have control over.
Yeah.
So all we're saying is this is an area where we wish more people could be intentional, that will help you in your dating, in whatever form of dating you're choosing to participate in.
Yeah. All right. So let's do a quick overview of what we talked about to sum it up.
Pay attention to your setting.
Pay attention to your setting.
By that, I mean the setting, the background of where you are.
Yeah. Have a decent background.
Right.
What's behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot on portrait mode on someone's iPhone if you don't have one. And I'm going to add to that. If you can do on portrait mode with a halfway decent background during golden hour,
People don't know what that
I
is.
know I'm about to explain it. So golden hour is about the hour right before sunset
Mm-hmm.
or right after sunrise if you're crazy enough to get up that early. Have a friend go out with you in a nice setting with portrait mode on someone's cell phone and literally ask ChatGPT for different uh, stances
Mm-hmm.
to be able to frame photos for yourself and ask it questions
Yeah.
because it will literally tell you like a good suggestions of at least trying 20 or 30 different shots and you'll get one or two good photos out of it, I promise you.
The reason why the sun is so low in the horizon that it's softened
Yeah.
by the horizon line itself and everything around it. So
Yeah.
the light comes through in a very soft, filtered, flattering kind of
Yeah.
way.
And that's the only time during that golden hour that with the sun being directly on your face with
Mm-hmm.
no shade around you at all, it's completely okay for your camera
Yeah.
because it's not like blinding bright on your skin and it doesn't throw off the contrast of the photo.
Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah, if you can do it about the hour before sunset or hour after sunrise with portrait mode in a decent setting with a clean background, I'm telling you, you're going to get some great photos.
Mm-hmm. Take photos, choose photos that represent who you are authentically.
Yep.
Know that people are going to make assumptions about what you care about based on what you put in the photos. So if you want people to know that you care about modesty, be modest in your photos. If you want people to know that you care about style, be stylish in your photos.
If you like reading, have a book in your photo. Like I like
Right.
it could be something you have fun with it.
Right. But know that people are going to assume and make assumptions about what's important to you based on what you have in your photos. I think travel photos are sometimes great because I have
Yeah.
people who really love travel
Yeah.
and they'll send me pictures in places where they've been and that's a reflection of what they love.
Yeah.
Right. So choose the photos that reflect the things that are important to you so that when people are using them to assess what you care about, they're right. And they're able to give you they're able to understand what message you're trying to send.
Yeah.
Get help if you need it.
Look for a up and coming photographer or videographer who is trying to build a portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And what will usually happen is they just want more test subjects to be able to help build out their portfolio, and they'll probably charge you a lot less than what a established business would charge. So look around, ask friends, ask family members, and you can get for fairly low price some good quality photos.
Yeah. So I don't want anyone to be listening to this and think that we think that photos should be the most important aspect of how you date.
No.
I want to just to reemphasize, we do not. We think that there is too much emphasis today on people's appearance and too many snap judgments made on photos.
Yes.
But we know that you're on the apps.
Well, and even in synchrony,
Sure.
like we have the only way we can introduce people sometimes. The first thing they see is not the video call. The first thing they see is
It's
a single photo and a bio.
Right.
And we sometimes have to send photos back to people and say, hey, like we need another one. We need another one. We need another one because these aren't flattering.
Right. So this is just our recommendations to put your best foot forward in whatever dating setting you're in. And yeah, if you are someone who has expertise in this area and you want to talk about how you can support people in this, like link up with us because we want to give people access to great resources.
Yeah.
Especially if you are doing that from the lens of someone who's apostolic and understands what we're looking for in terms of modesty and what we want to demonstrate. So check in with the people around you who have skill in this area. Take time to put together the photos that you're going to be using to represent yourself.
Yeah. And also if all this information was too much, YouTube is a great resource.
Yeah.
Ask how to take really good cell phone photos of myself.
Yeah.
And I promise you will find some videos on there that will give you more than what you need.
Yeah. It's better to wait and do it and add photos that are going to be a good representation of who you are than to just dump whatever the last 5 photos were on your phone into the app.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've beat this into the ground.
Yep, and our kids are destroying our house.
Yeah, thank you to my dad who is babysitting. We're going to go save him. Before we do, Exciting news?
Really exciting news.
What is the exciting news?
Max and Rhea.
Congratulations to Max.
We should have added that at the beginning.
We should have. Yes. Talk about Max is actually a very skilled videographer.
Speaking of videographer.
Just amazing talent. We've been getting his advice about some stuff for Synchrony. But yeah, two beautiful people who we just love, and their story is amazing. They navigated long distance relationships and a cross country move to end up together, and they got engaged yesterday.
Last night.
Yeah. Congratulations, you guys. We're so proud of you.
Congratulations. We were so excited for you.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the life they're going to build. They are like representative in so many ways of like things I love about the Synchrony process, because Rhea is like a gifted, talented, highly educated, very powerful woman spiritually. Max is creative and secure and confident and supportive in a way that I think so many couples could learn from and be inspired by. They are just a power couple in a totally unique way that I would love to see more people engage with, you know. But we're just so happy for them.
Yep. Congratulations. And we also need to shout out Singles at Sea.
Singles at Sea. So if you haven't heard, we're going on a cruise February.
Grab your sunscreen in February.
Sunglasses, all the things. So you can come on board with us, and what's going to happen is right now you can reserve your cabin. There's information in the description. It only takes $200 to reserve your cabin, and that's for 2 people that could stay in a cabin. So if you want to bring a friend with you and room with them, each of you only has to put down $100. Pricing may vary as we get closer to the cruise, but you can contact Chelsea, who's our cruise coordinator. In the description, all of her info is there, and she'll give you the rundown on what the pricing looks like right now. We'd love to see more people come, and a wide variety of people. We're not going to be spending the whole time like doing lecture-y type stuff. We're going to be having a lot of fun and hanging out and connecting with each other. It's going to be super fun and hilarious, and just we're going to laugh, we're going to chill, we're hopefully going to make great connections for people. So please take a look at the Singles at Sea Facebook page if you want more details, or if you need to find a roommate. If you don't have someone to go with but you want to split costs, we can find ways to set you up with someone and introduce you to someone who could room with you.
That's right.
Anything else that we need to announce?
Nope. This episode's already longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yep. I love you.
I love you too.
We should not record on a Sunday. This is a bad idea.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the Sabbath for a reason.
We're supposed to be taking a nap right now.
Yeah. I hope you guys have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.